Lee Van Cleef, the man who redefined what it meant to be the ultimate screen villain with his piercing steel blue eyes and an unmistakable presence. But behind those menacing stares and that trademark squint lived a surprisingly gentle family man who built a fascinating collection of homes that reflected both his rise to stardom and his desire for peaceful retreats away from the Hollywood spotlight. Born in the quiet farming community of Somerville, New Jersey, Lee's path to Hollywood was anything but typical. Before he became the face of spaghetti western villainy, he served with distinction in the U.S. Navy during World War II, earning a Bronze Star for his actions aboard the minesweeper USS Incredible. His ship patrolled dangerous waters from the Caribbean to the Black Sea, experiences that would later inform the steely resolve he brought to his most memorable roles. After the war, while working various jobs from farming to accounting, Lee discovered his passion for acting through local theater productions in New Jersey. Lee's career truly exploded when Italian director Sergio Leone cast him alongside Clint Eastwood in For a Few Dollars More, followed by his iconic role as Angel Eyes in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. These films transformed him from a struggling character actor into an international star, with European audiences particularly embracing his distinctive style. By the early 1970s, Van Cleef had become one of the 10 most popular box office draws in Europe, a remarkable achievement for an actor who had spent years playing minor villains in Hollywood B-movies. At the time of his death, in 1989, Lee Van Cleef had accumulated a net worth of $2 million, a substantial fortune that reflected his successful transition from obscure character actor to international star. His earnings varied significantly throughout his career. For appearing in For a Few Dollars More, Lee received $17,000, which would be equivalent to about $137,000 today. This financial success allowed him to invest in a collection of homes that served as both retreats from his demanding career and reflections of his evolving status in Hollywood. From his early family home in Tarzana to his final seaside sanctuary in Oxnard, each property tells a unique story of a man who found peace away from the cameras and gunfights that made him famous. Our first stop takes us to Rosita Street in Tarzana, which was Lee Van Cleef's family home. This sprawling suburban property in the San Fernando Valley became the Van Cleef base during some of the most important years of Lee's career transformation. Built in 1954, the home features 3,699 square feet of living space, providing ample room for Lee, his various wives throughout the years, and his children. Tarzana itself holds a special place in Hollywood history. The neighborhood is built on the site of a former ranch owned by author Edgar Rice Burroughs and is named after his fictional jungle hero, Tarzan. When the Van Cleef family settled here, they were joining a community that had long been connected to the entertainment industry, making it an ideal location for a working actor to establish roots while remaining close to the studios. The Rosita Street property represented stability for Lee during a period when his career was experiencing significant ups and downs. During the late 1950s and early 1960s, before his breakthrough with Sergio Leone, Lee was struggling to find substantial roles in Hollywood. The property, owned under the name Van Cleef Barbara, suggests this was likely held in trust, indicating thoughtful estate planning. The home's single-story ranch design was typical of San Fernando Valley residences built in the 1950s, featuring clean lines and an emphasis on indoor-outdoor living that was becoming increasingly popular in Southern California. The property's lot size provided privacy for a growing family while still maintaining the suburban feel that many Hollywood families preferred over the more exposed lifestyle of Beverly Hills. Today, the home has been renovated and can be rented for $12,000 a month. Perhaps the most significant and emotionally resonant of Lee Van Cleef's homes was his final residence in California. This coastal community, located about 60 miles north of Los Angeles, provided Lee with the peace and tranquility he craved in his later years. Oxnard's appeal to celebrities lies in its stunning coastline and relaxed atmosphere, far removed from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood. Oxnard has been a playground for the rich and famous for decades, with mile-long stretches of sandy beaches that have drawn celebrities seeking coastal properties to escape Hollywood's demands. For Lee, who had spent decades playing tough guys and enduring the physical demands of action films, this seaside location offered the perfect retreat. The choice of Oxnard becomes even more meaningful when you consider Lee's naval background. Having served aboard ships during World War II, patrolling everything from Caribbean waters to the Black Sea, Lee maintained a lifelong connection to the ocean. His Oxnard home allowed him to wake up each morning to ocean views and sea breezes, perhaps reminding him of his younger days serving his country on the high seas. By this time in his life, Lee was married to Barbara Havalone, whom he wed in 1976 and who survived him. Despite suffering from heart disease from the 1970s and having a pacemaker installed in the 1980s, Van Cleef continued to work in films until his death. The Oxnard home provided a sanctuary where he could recuperate between film shoots and enjoy a quieter lifestyle with Barbara. What makes this property even more fascinating is its connection to modern Hollywood history. The home became an unexpected piece of cinematic history when location scouts for Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood discovered it was Lee Van Cleef's home, described as a 60s time capsule filled to the brim with Hollywood memorabilia. The fact that the Van Cleef home served as a filming location for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood adds another layer to its significance. According to the location manager, after explaining the project to someone on the property, he got a funny look on his face at the mention of Quentin Tarantino. He explained it was Lee Van Cleef's home, a 60s time capsule, and filled to the brim with Hollywood memorabilia that he thought would interest Quentin. This suggests that Barbara Van Cleef has lovingly maintained the home as a shrine to her late husband's career, preserving not just the physical space, but the atmosphere of Hollywood's golden age of westerns. The home's preservation speaks to the deep love and respect Barbara had for Lee and his legacy. Rather than modernizing or selling the property after his death, she chose to maintain it as it was during their time together. The memorabilia mentioned in the home likely includes posters, stills, and props from Lee's extensive filmography of over 170 film and television roles. From his early appearances in High Noon to his starring roles in the Leone trilogy and later films like Escape from New York, each piece would tell a story of Hollywood's evolution and Lee's place within it. Lee Van Cleef's choice of homes reveals a man who valued authenticity over ostentation. Unlike many Hollywood stars who gravitated toward the mansions of Beverly Hills or Malibu, Lee chose neighborhoods that reflected his blue-collar roots and practical nature. Tarzana, with its suburban family atmosphere, and Oxnard, with its working-class coastal community vibe, were places where Lee could be himself rather than playing a role. His final resting place at Forest Lawn in Los Angeles bears the inscription, "Best of the Bad and Love and Light," reflecting both the affection and respect he earned on and off the screen. This dual nature, the professional bad guy and the personally beloved man, is reflected in his choice of homes that prioritized comfort and family over Hollywood glamour. As we conclude our tour through the homes of Lee Van Cleef, we see a pattern that reveals the true character of this Hollywood legend. These weren't the flashy mansions of a typical movie star, but rather the thoughtful choices of a man who understood that true wealth lies not in ostentation, but in creating spaces where love and memories can flourish. The fact that his widow Barbara has lovingly preserved their Oxnard home, turning it into an unintentional museum of Hollywood's golden age speaks volumes about the kind of man Lee Van Cleef was behind the steely-eyed facade. Lee Van Cleef's homes remind us that even the most iconic screen villains were, at heart, simply people seeking the same things we all desire: a place to call home, surrounded by those they love. His legacy lives on, not just in the dozens of Western classics that made him famous, but in the spaces he created for the people who mattered most to him. If you found Lee Van Cleef's story as fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exclusive tours of classic Hollywood legends' homes. What other stars would you like us to feature next? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest video.